setup of the VM machine. So we have created total two machines, that is VM2, VM gateway. So now we will configure this network settings for each of the three VMs so that our network are safe when we are trying to connect with VM1 and VM2 via gateway VM that we will be creating using the settings for the network. So let's go to the VM1 settings, and here we will go for networks and we will make it in a internet network. A default name will be given, and here we will allow to communicate with VMs only. So we will just save it, and same thing we will be doing with the VM2 networks, changing to internet network. So for VM1 and VM2, we are having only one adapter, the other three adapter are disabled, and here we are making as a internet network so that it can communicate with the gateway via gateway while having a communication between VM1 and VM2. So now let's save the VM2, and now moving to the gateway VM that we have created, the third VM. We will go to the network settings here, and here we will have for the internet connectivity using this gateway we have to provide two adapters. The first adapter will be used as a internet gateway which will allow the this VM to connect with the internet. So we will be opting for two options, NAT or bridge adapter. So NAT will use the direct internet connection that is being provided by your local host, that is your Windows system that where on your virtual box has been installed, and otherwise the bridge adapter. The bridge adapter will connect with the internal the local host that is there via the three adapters that are there. So in my current system there are two network attached, that is the Wi-Fi, and the other one is the Realtek LAN cable. So I'll choose the Wi-Fi one and I'll allow to have connection with all the host and VMs. Now I'll save it and I'll initiate the gateway VM so that I can configure the networks inside the VM and create a firewall so that the VM1 and VM2 can communicate to each other and via the gateway VM, and also it is the VM1 and VM2 is accessing the internet via gateway VM only. They are not allowed to communicate through the internet via any described network, because we have mentioned that the VM2 will be and VM1 will be using a internal network that is defined itself. So now we will go and start the VM3, that is the gateway VM. Okay, so our VM3 has been loaded. Now this this is the first time I am loading the VM, so a setup page has been popped up. So we will set up the OS. Let's disable the third parties, and we will give a name to this OM gateway. Okay, and we will provide a password. Wait, so the password is there. We'll save it and we'll start it. VM. Meanwhile, I'll start VM1 and VM2 in the background, and we will focus on the gateway VM first. Okay, let's skip the tool, and yep, our VM is ready. So, and here we can see under the networks, we will be seeing two networks, the first and the second. Here, the status symbol shows the first one is connected with the internet because we have provided via bridge network, and the second one is not connected to any network. So after saying, you can see the second one is trying to connect because the second one has been made as a internal network. So that will be used for the connecting between the two VMs, and the first internet connectivity will be provided via this gateway VM1. Now let's open to the terminal, and we will update the VM so that all the latest file is provided. And we will write sudo dnf update-y. So it will try to connect. So it will prompt for the password, and we'll provide the password, and it will start loading up all the latest file for the OS. So it will take time, and we will wait for that. Okay, now our OS has been updated. So let's configure the VM3. As we have configured the networks externally, now we have to configure our VM1, 2, 3 internally. Okay, so let's first we need to run. Let's clear the skin as it has been updated. Now we will check the device status for the network. Okay, so the first one is connected via Ethernet, and the second one is not connected because it is being locally disabled. So as it is in an internal network. So let's set up the VM for the first, which will configure our IPs. And this is 2. Now let's open the terminal. As you can see in the second, there was a notification that our network is not connected because we have maintained an internal network. So for both VM1 and VM2, network meters status, status, and here we can see we have one network that is not connected as it is showing disconnected. And if we go same with the VM2, we will be seeing the same. The first one is the local one that is being established. So now let's move to the further part. Here we will be configuring some of the part, and as I have mentioned, we have to configure VM1 and VM2 so that it can have a gateway and it can have a own IP address that we will be forming up. So, so let's check the network names first, as here it is the device name, but we have to get the network name. From that, we can go and check over the network setting. Yeah, network, this was the network. and see the IP address has been updated, DNS has been updated, and if we go to that, the gateway has been updated. Just remember those things because the gateway will be the one that will be used for the VM gateway. Okay, now let's check the IP address. Okay, you can see here also we got the confirmation. Now, before going to the third one, before we are pinging, let's set up the third gateway for the machine. If we have this, we have a new IP address for this one. So we have to set up it accordingly. So we have to change it. So, so this is our second VM, and here let's sudo CLI connection modify. We'll get the name, the same. For surety, we are copying that, and after that, we will write. Okay, it has been done. So let's restart the connection. Okay, it is down. Now we are restarting with the hub. Okay, now the connection has been provided and we can see the IP addresses and here. So it's 102 for the VM2 and 101 for the VM1. Let's try to ping the IP that we have provided as a gateway. So here we can do 192.168.56.100. Okay, so it was trying to reach it, but it is not possible. So let's configure the third VM, that is the gateway VM that we were having, so that it can act as a gateway that we have provided the IP. Let's the current IP is this, so we will relocate that part and we do sudo nmcli connection with modify, and we'll get the name of that network that we will be using. So make sure the network that we will be using for a gateway will be this connection 2. Connection 1, sorry, because we have to connect to the internet. So we have to connect with the first. Okay, we are having the second one and we will bring the second. 4 and with the method we will have that. Okay, IP4. So it is asking for to restart the device, the network device. So it will be doing with the sudo sudo CLI connection down, and we have to provide the okay, the connection is down, not that is down. Now we have to make it up. Okay, now the connection is up. So let's clear the screen and we will be forwarding this so that it can be accessible to the VM1 and VM2 that we are there. So we have to do a forwarding. Remember, we are using IP4, so we have to forward the IP4. Okay, it has been done. So we have to make it as in the config file of the network system. So we'll write this so that in the configuration it is done. So it has been completed. So our network has been provided so that it can be configured. So we'll try to ping and see that if the IPs are able to do that. We'll go to the first VM and see. So now you can see previously it was not able to reach it, but now it is able to connect to the internet properly. If I try to ping a Google, it won't be because we haven't created a proper firewall, but it will try to connect it. So here also we can do that. State what 56.100. So see, they are able to connect with that. Great. Okay, by mistake I have given 44, so it will try to ping as a 44 times. Okay, meanwhile, we will be going forward to have a firewall so that the VMs are secure from outward connection and also from the third connection. But here we can see it is able to ping to the gateway, so it is accessible to the gateway. That's all. Thank you.